Hello, everybody. It's me, Anthony, and it's the time of the week again. It's Anthony's NFL picks. Week 6. Yup, it's the 6th week of the NFL. The season's already going by quickly. And my oh my, we had some great games this week. But before we start, I have to do two things. There are two teams on bye week, by the way, before we start. The two teams that will not be playing for week 6 are the 2-3 Packers and the 3-2 Steelers will not be playing this week. And also, my record right now is currently 49-26 right now. And a last thing before I start, please make sure to like this video and subscribe and turn on those notification bells to get updated on my newest content. Anyways, let's get back to our daily programming of Anthony's NFL picks. Kicking things off and starting things off for Thursday Night Football, we got the 1-4 Broncos and the 4-1 Chiefs. Broncos are here after losing to the Jets. Broncos are in a bit of trouble right now because of Javonte Williams, who got hurt in the Jets game, which means, they could be in a bit of a disadvantage. I think the Broncos have a 43% chance of winning, actually, because the Chiefs, they're here after beating the Vikings, but however, Travis Kelce hurt his ankle and he may be out, so that's might be a huge disadvantage for them, but I'm thinking Kansas City will hold on and beat Denver. Chiefs will beat the Broncos 25-19. Chiefs will be 5-1, Broncos will be 1-5. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got a London game between the 3-2 Ravens and the 2-3 Titans. Ravens are here after blowing that game against the Steelers in Heinz Field. Ravens had a very tough time last week, but they're going on to London now against the Titans, who are 2-3, who lost to the Colts. Mainly because Jonathan Taylor was back, but we'll get to that later. To be honest, I'm thinking that the Ravens will finally bounce back and beat Tennessee. Ravens will beat the Titans 20-13, and actually that's the same score last time they played, actually, in the wild card round in 2021. Ravens did the divisional round and actually lost to the Bills back in 2021. But I'm thinking that the Ravens will hold on and beat Tennessee. Ravens will be 4-2, Titans will be 2-4. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the winless 0-5 Panthers and the 4-1 Dolphins. Panthers are here after getting completely annihilated by the Lions at home, 42-17. Panthers, things are not working out for Bryce Young. Adam Thielen's having a hard time. Miles Sanders is having a hard time. That Panthers team is rebuilding. I don't know why they would trade with the Bears for DJ Moore. But anyway, I'm going to have to go with Miami on this win. Dolphins will beat the Panthers 34-3. Dolphins will be 5-1. Panthers will be 0-6. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 3-2 Saints and the 2-3 Texans. Saints are here after shutting out New England 34-0. They literally stopped New England, mainly because New England is a very poopy team. They're very bad. So, Patriots, I feel bad for them, but we'll get to them later. They're going on to Houston, taking on the Texans, who almost beat Atlanta. They lost with that last-second kick, 21-19. Texans are making a big improvement. C.J. Stroud is really trying his hardest. But in the end, I'm thinking that the Saints will hold on and beat Houston to get their second win in a row. Saints will beat the Texans 31-27. Saints will be 4-2. Texans will be 2-4. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 2-3 Commanders and the 3-2 Falcons. Commanders, my beautiful Commanders, who got beat by the winless 0-4 Bears, now 1-4. We lost that game 40-20, sadly, but I'm not mad about that, though. I'm just mad because Ron Rivera hasn't gotten fired yet. I don't like Ron Rivera. He's a terrible coach, to be honest. I don't care what he did with the Panthers. He's very bad with the Commanders now. And to be honest, I'm wanting him to get fired at the end of this season. I want the Commanders to be bad so they could fire Ron Rivera and get better draft picks. But they're going on to Atlanta against the Falcons with Desmond Ridder. He is doing an amazing job being the starter for the Falcons. He's in his second year now. I'm going to have to go with the Falcons on this win. It's going to be a close game. Falcons will beat the Commanders 23-21. Falcons will be 4-2. Commanders will be 2-4. We move on with our next game. And note, if I do sound tired, by the way, I'm a little bit tired. But anyways, we're moving on. Coming up at our next game, we got an AFC South matchup between a battle for first place between the 3-2 Colts and the 3-2 Jaguars. Colts are here after winning against the Titans at the last second. Jonathan Taylor was back, but however, Anthony Richardson, the Colts quarterback, is out. He hurt his shoulder. He's going to probably be missing a month of football, which is a huge disadvantage for Indianapolis. Now they're going on to Jacksonville against the Jaguars, who got 2 straight London wins against the Bills and the Falcons, respectively. The Jaguars have a home field advantage, and they look very tough. To be honest, I might have to go with the Jaguars on this one. Jaguars will beat the Colts 31-24. Jaguars will be 4-2. Colts will be 3-3. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 3-1 Seahawks and the 2-3 Bengals. Seahawks, they're here coming back from their bye week. They look very energized, but they're going on to Cincinnati against the Bengals, who beat Arizona 34-20. They were losing that game 14-10. They almost blew that game, but thank goodness Joe Burrow came back and did amazing on that play. To be honest, I'm actually going to go with my very first upset of the week this season ever. I have not had an upset of the week this season ever, but I'm going to go with the Bengals to win. Bengals will beat Seattle because, 1, they're at home and they have a home field advantage, and 2, Geno Smith is a bit questionable. So it makes sense for me just to go with the Bengals. Bengals will beat Seattle 17-14. Bengals will be 3-3. Seahawks will be 3-2. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an NFC North matchup between the 1-4 Vikings and the 1-4 Bears. The battle of the 1-4 teams. The Vikings are here after almost beating Kansas City at their home stadium. They're going on to Soldier Field against the Bears, who sadly got a win over my Commanders. And I'm very upset about that still, but that was in the past. I'm going to have to go with the Vikings on this win. The Bears, they're rebuilding, but the Vikings, they look competitive, I think, to get more off to a rough start right now. They're off to a rough start, being 1-4 this season, but I'm thinking that the rough start will be ended, so I'm going to have to go with the Vikings. Vikings will beat the Bears 29-10. Vikings will be 2-4. Bears are going to be 1-5. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the undefeated 5-0 Niners still against the 2-2 Browns. The Browns are back from their bye week, and the 49ers are here after destroying Dallas 42-10 on Sunday night. I'm going to have to go with San Francisco. Brock Purdy and George Kittle. George Kittle did amazing against the Cowboys to completely torch that team. So, to be honest, I might have to go with the 49ers. 49ers will beat the Browns 28-13. 49ers will be 6-0. The Browns will be 2-3. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 1-4 Patriots and the 2-3 Raiders. Patriots are here after getting shut out by the Saints, and Mac Jones got benched for Bailey Zappe. The Patriots are bad. I think Mac Jones is going to get traded at the end of the season or traded in the middle of the season because Mac Jones is a very crappy quarterback. He's so bad, it's just not even funny. However, they're going on to Vegas against the Raiders, who beat Green Bay by 4 last night. They were winning the Packers 3-0 when I went to bed. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Raiders on this win. Raiders will continue their 2 wins. I think the Raiders will get a 2-win streak this time. Raiders will beat the Patriots 32-25. The Raiders will be 3-3. Patriots will be 1-5. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 4-1 Lions and the 3-1 Buccaneers. Lions are here after winning against Carolina torching them and beating them to death, 42-17. However, the Lions have bad injuries. Amar St. Brown is out, which is a huge disadvantage for Detroit. They're going on to Tampa Bay against the 3-1 Buccaneers, who came back from their bye week, and they are looking stronger than ever right now. They're in Tampa Bay, so this is going to be a pretty good game, to be honest. But if I had to choose, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. Buccaneers will beat the Lions. Baker Mayfield looks good, and they look strong, so I'm going to go with them. Buccaneers will beat the Lions 21-13. Buccaneers will be 4-1. Lions will be 4-2. We move on to the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an NFC West matchup between the 2-3 Rams between the 1-4 Cardinals and the 2-3 Rams. Rams, they're here after losing against Philadelphia. They almost beat them. They were playing a good game. They lost by 9. But Cooper Kupp is back now, meaning that was a bit closer. They're going to be back at home again. They were home against Philadelphia, but they're going to be home again against the Cardinals, who lost to the Bengals 34-20. So that's a huge problem for them. But to be honest, I might have to go with the Rams. Rams will beat the Cardinals 26-13. Rams will be 3-3. Cardinals will be 1-5. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the second undefeated team left, the 5-0 Eagles. They're going to be away again against the Jets, the 3-2 Jets actually, or the 2-3 Jets. Let's see, I'm thinking 2-3. We got the 5-0 Eagles and the 2-3 Jets. My bad. Eagles are here after beating the Jets. Not the Jets. Oh gosh, I'm screwing this up. My bad. Eagles are here after beating the Rams. That was my fault. Anyway, they came here beating the Rams, and the Jets are here after beating Denver. Both are coming back from wins from different stadiums last time. The Jets were in Denver. The Eagles were in LA. So we're going to see how it's going to be. But to be honest, the Eagles are away and the Jets are going to be home. So it just makes sense for the Eagles to win, even though the Eagles are away again. Eagles will beat the Jets 30-22. Eagles will be 6-0. The Jets will be 2-4. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game for Sunday Night Football, we got the battle of the New York teams, because we got the 1-4 Giants and the 3-2 Bills. Giants are here after getting beat by the Dolphins 31-16. They have a very tough schedule this season, the Giants. I don't think the Giants are going to make the playoffs, to be honest. They're really struggling this season, but it's the beginning of the season still. It's week 5 to week 6. But they're going on to Buffalo against the Bills, who lost that close game against Jacksonville by 5, 25-20. However, Matt Milano got hurt too, so that's a huge disadvantage for Buffalo. The Bills are banged up. They lost Tre'Davious White from a torn Achilles, and now they lost Matt Milano from an injury. But to be honest, I'm thinking Buffalo's going to take the win now anyway. Bills will beat the Giants 30-16. Bills will be 4-2. Giants will be 1-5. We move on with our next game. And last but not least for this week, we got the 2-2 Chargers for opening Monday Night Football. We got the 2-2 Chargers, and we got the 3-2 Cowboys. Chargers are refreshing from their bye week. They look a lot stronger and tougher around the edges. They had a bit of a tough start going on this season, but they're rebounding right now. But they're going to go on they're going on at home against the Cowboys, who got beat by the Niners pretty badly. But to be honest, I might have to go with Dallas on this one. Dallas will beat the Chargers by a close game of 24-21. Cowboys will be 4-2. Chargers will be 2-3. And that is it for this week, everybody. These were all my NFL picks for Week 6. But don't forget to tune in next week for Anthony's NFL Picks Week 7, which will be premiering on Tuesday, October 17th. Other than that, this is Anthony signing off, and have a great week.